What's up, Rovers? We're here and today we're going to talk about Qiuyuan, the calm and collected swordsman. Now, I know a lot of people are super hyped for him, but here's the truth. If you build Qiuyuan wrong, you're going to waste a ton of potential. He's not your typical sub-DPS. He's tricky, technical, and requires the right echo sets. So let's get started. First, let's go and talk about his gameplay and playstyle. Qiuyuan is a 5-star arrow sword sub-DPS who also provides powerful buff to his teammates. So that means he's not your typical main DPS who stay on the field smashing button. Instead, he focuses on building up stacks, triggering supportive effects, and dealing quick bursts of damage before swapping out. His gameplay revolves around a special resource called Surster Soliloquy, which you build by doing basic attack, dash counter, and intro skill. Once you reach a certain threshold, which is 200, 400, and 600 points, Qiuyuan unlocks new state and effects. At 200 points, he gains Ink Wash, boosting his energy regen, while at 400 points, he unlocks Bamboo Shade, giving your whole team an echo skill damage bonus. And finally, he's full at 600 points, he enters Ink Splash of Might, a special stance where his attack become more powerful and dealing arrow damage. And the best part, his outro skill. It gives the next character a massive 50% echo skill damage amplification, which is one of the strongest buff in the game right now. So Qiuyuan isn't just a flashy swordsman. He's an incredible sub-DPS and support hybrid that boosts the entire team's performance. Now let's talk about how Qiuyuan kit works. First up, basic attack. Qiuyuan will perform up to 3 slashes. It deals arrow damage. After his third attack, he builds up 100 soliloquy points, which is basically his focus meter. His heavy attack, he consumes stamina to perform a heavier strike. And if you chain it after certain attacks, you'll unlock Dash Poke the Blade Ink Wash Stage 4. A special finisher that also builds soliloquy. Next up, dodge counter. If you dodge an attack perfectly and counter, Qiuyuan deals arrow damage and gains more soliloquy. And here's the cool part. After using a basic or heavy attack, he becomes temporarily immune to one incoming hit, automatically countering with arrow damage, so he got built-in defensive timing mechanic. Next up, resonance skill. Through the Groves. When you press it, Qiuyuan dashes forward and dealing arrow damage. But if you time it right as you're hit by an enemy, he becomes immune and stagger the enemy. It's basically a perfect counter move. Holding the skill makes him dash continuously, which can be used for both offensive and mobility. On his 40 circuit, Verdant Edge, this is where things get spicy. Once you hit 600 soliloquy, Qiuyuan enters Ink Splash of Might, a special stance where his heavy attack becomes Dash Poke the Blade to teach to save to sacrifice. Each of these deal massive arrow damage and they count as echo skill, which means they can trigger effects tied to echo skill bonuses. During this state, he's basically in a mini awakening mode, stronger, faster, and flashier. And finally, his Resonance Liberation, Sundering Strike. It deals huge AoE arrow damage and boosts crit damage for all teammates based on his own crit rate. If you build him past 50% crit rate, this buff scales even higher, up to 30% crit damage for everyone, and that's a huge value for a sub-DPS. But here's the important part. If your Qiuyuan doesn't have at least 65% crit rate, you're missing out on part of that buff. So yeah, if you're planning to use Qiuyuan as a sub-DPS or support buffer, meeting that 65% crit rate threshold is non-negotiable. Once you do, your whole team will notice the difference. Sharper crits, faster kills, and overall smoother rotation. Now let's talk about weapons, because this is where many players build him wrong. Since Qiuyuan's supportive abilities came from his skill and not his raw stats, your weapon choice should focus on increasing his personal damage to make him a stronger sub-DPS. His best choice is of course his signature weapon, Emerald Sentence. It gives 587 attack, 24.3 crit rate, and this weapon is literally tailor-made for Qiuyuan. It synergizes perfectly with his echo skill mechanics and buff the whole team. His second option will be Emerald of Genesis. It gives crit rate and energy regen, a safe pick if you want smoother rotation and faster resonance liberation uptime. Next up will be Red Spring, another crit rate sword. It gives strong basic attack bonuses, solid synergy for players who like using his normal attack chains often. Next up, Echo Builds. This part is super important because Qiuyuan's entire strength depends on how well you balance his damage and support bonuses. First up, Law of Harmony 3-piece and Arrow 2-piece. Any arrow sets are good. This is the best set for Qiuyuan. It increases his heavy attack damage by 30% for 4 seconds after casting Echo Skill and gives the team 4% Echo Skill damage bonus per stack, which you can actually stack up to 4 stacks. When maxed, that's a 16% team-wide Echo Skill damage bonus, which fits Qiuyuan's supported playstyle perfectly. For his main Echo, you can either use Fenrico or the Nightmare Monkey. Any will work to Qiuyuan. Next Echo build will be Moonlit Cloud 5-piece. This is for the full support Qiuyuan build. For main stat, 4 costs, it's either crit rate or crit damage. 3 costs will be arrow damage or attack percentage. 1 cost, attack percentage. For substats, crit rate crit damage is greater than attack percentage and greater than heavy attack damage. Keep his crit rate around 65% so that his Resonance Liberation buff is the full 30% crit damage bonus for your whole team. Alright, now let's build some team for Qiuyuan. Because of his Echo Skill and crit damage buff, Qiuyuan works best with Echo Skill reliant DPS units. First team will be Qiuyuan, Galbrena, and Shorekeeper. This is the best premium team currently for Qiuyuan. Galbrena as the main DPS, Qiuyuan as sub DPS, Shorekeeper as the support or sustain. Why it works, Galbrena is an amazing fusion DPS who deal continuous fire damage. Qiuyuan boosts her Echo Skill damage and crit damage, making her burst window hit insanely hard. So Shorekeeper provides reliable healing, powerful crit rate and crit damage buff through her Resonance Liberation. So if you want a set it and win it team, this is the one. Next team will be Qiuyuan, Prolova, and Cantarella. This setup focus on Echo Skill synergy, since both Prolova and Cantarella heavily rely on Echo Skill damage. Qiuyuan naturally complements them by providing team-wide Echo Skill damage buff through his kit. However, this team might perform a bit below than the optimal team, mainly because Prolova benefits from staying off-field, which means Qiuyuan's outro buff won't be fully utilized, unless it's triggered by Cantarella instead. If you really love Qiuyuan's gameplay, you can run him as your main DPS too. Two fun setups are Qiuyuan, Yuno, and Shorekeeper. And next up, Qiuyuan, Mortifi, and Shorekeeper. This lets Qiuyuan stay on field longer while others provide buffs or sustain. It's not the most optimal meta setup, but it's super fun and stylish. Before we wrap up, let's talk about few common mistakes players make when building Qiuyuan. Number 1, ignoring crit rate. Remember, his Liberation buff scales with crit rate. If you stay below 50%, you're losing free crit damage for your entire team. And that's it for today's Qiuyuan guide. He's one of the characters that looks simple at first but has a deep and rewarding playstyle. But anyways, if this guide helped you out, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below which character you want me to cover next. And this is Squirk, signing